Pansies are one of the most underrated flowers that I grow in my garden. They're colorful, they're cheerful. Look at those faces. And they're even edible. You can even dry them. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's talk about pansies. We have guest Kira. She may or may not sit with us. Most likely she won't sit with us the whole time. She wanders around out here. Hopefully she doesn't go for my chickens. That's a whole different story. Are you a good girl? It's like a wolfie. Huh, you being a good girl? You gonna go? All right, she's gone. In every garden that I design, usually we'll have pansies in the cool season. Pansies are known for their colors. You can see here, we've got the dark maroon, we've got some white with blues, and these are all naturally occurring colors. There's no dye, no additives, just genetics. I love pansies so much that I got this book and I was really excited when it came out. It's by Brenna Estrada, and since we're talking colors, she has this whole back section of different arrangements. This is my favorite arrangement, the blush and the dark pansies right there. And it's just such a pretty book. Great for the coffee table. Since we're talking about color, let's just say these are a few of my favorites. This is the Chianti mix. There's the Delta pink shades. Yes, I did my homework and I bookmarked these to show you. Soft lights, and then she has this whole thing about the species, the bloom size, height, cutting stem, like the fragrance, and even the color. Look at this one, Flamenco Terracotta. Now I've seen some of these in the nursery. I have not seen them at big box stores, but at independent garden centers, otherwise known as IGC, I've seen them. Like this one I've grown, Lemonberry. It's so pretty and it's ruffly. And I remember I was walking through the wholesale nursery and I just smelled the sweetest scent and I was like, what is that smell? And I had figured out that it was actually an entire section of the growing space that was honeybee. And it's this one. It's super cute. And here, at least in Southern California, she has it as a mild fragrance. It was so strong, maybe because it was just flats and flats of them, but the smell was intoxicating. It smelled so sweet and just like a really pretty floral. Honeybee is another one that I love. She has so many, but I'm only highlighting the ones I've actually seen in store. And some of these you might have to try to find seed to grow from seed. But I've seen these all in starts. So this one's Tiger Eye. This is probably one of the most striking ones, and it's striped. So yeah, they're all in this book. One that I haven't seen yet in store as a plant is these dark ones. Like if you like dark flowers, they come in all sorts of colors. So you can tell there's pinks, reds, oranges, yellows, black, striped, all the things. And some of them are very flat and some of them are really ruffled like this. Like you can't even see the face on this one. This one you can kind of see her face, but not exactly. But look at how pretty that is, right there. So this is probably my favorite colorway palette, where it's like the blush and very kind of antique-y looking. This actually has, it looks like a few plants on the inside. I don't know that I can show you, but you can see where the stems are in the bottom. And you can just plant this out like this into the garden. These are 4¼ inch pots, and they were sent to me by Incredible Genetics. I asked if they would send me some because I was making this video and it turned out perfectly. Bo has decided to join for a little bit. He's my goodest boy. So we'll make room for Bo. This is actually his chair. Usually I sit in the other one, but he's in this one. Are we sharing, buddy? Yeah? Okay, buddy. All right, you guys be good babies, okay? While mommy makes the video, all right? My kids are at baseball, so I had time to just hop in and try to film this for you. Because each plant is not that big, I actually like to tuck these into the edges of the garden beds It's a nice little filler for when your plants are smaller. And yes, I even put these in my edible garden beds because they are edible and they're just so pretty. So when your seeds are just starting to sprout and it looks like dirt, you have some flowers to look at. Pansies are a cold weather crop, and technically these ones they sent me are -10 degrees Fahrenheit. That is pretty darn cold, and they'll survive. So that's the hardiness on the low end. I would say here in Southern California, they will not be very happy in the hottest times of the summer. However, if you plant them under canopy in part shade, they might be okay with high temps, but not with the intense sun. They will burn. I tend to use them as fillers, but I also teach at the school garden and we like to put them everywhere, and they often self-seed. I don't know about this exact variety. I do teach also at a school garden, and we planted the pansies. We planted pansies and violas in the school garden that I teach at about 2 years ago, and they still self-seed and come back every season. They are an annual, but they do self-seed and come back. They're not invasive. They're very easy to remove if you don't like them. They don't have destructive roots either. So all around, a fantastic plant. I'm gonna open this. I dried a few flowers months ago, and I wanna check on how they're doing. I haven't opened it since, and I figure I did do pansies, so let's just see. So while I'm opening this, let's talk a little bit about pansies. In the world of plants, pansies are pretty readily available, especially varieties that have been on the market for a while. Some are just generic. They won't have a special name on them, especially if you shop at the big box stores. If you want these special ones, you'll have to check your independent garden centers. The one nearest to me is International Garden Center in El Segundo, and they often have some of these special plants. You can also check online at Johnny's Seeds. It's not sponsored. They just have a very wide selection of all sorts of seeds, even farmers source from. All right. I didn't do a lot, so there's a lot to unwind here as I talk. It's kind of hard to do this and talk at the same time. Okay, I feel like pansies are inexpensive and they produce so many flowers on just one plant. So for example, this is one plant. There's probably 2 or 3 plants in here, and each plant is producing, like, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers already. It's gonna continuously bloom throughout the season. Because I'm in a cooler microclimate, even though I'm zone 10B, I have pansies usually year round. At the very peak hot summer, they may get a little bit tired, but then they do come back. I'm gonna go to Home Depot in a little bit and see if the pansies made it there yet. Usually I see pansies in the fall and the spring, more plentiful. So usually I see pansies and violas pop up in the fall and the spring, but in my area, I do see them almost year round. Okay, so took off the top. And I'll link all of this down below, but this is just a board. I got the largest one because if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna do it, go big or go home. I thought about making my own board, but it was too much work. This one comes with all the dowels. I don't have to decide what to get, what parts, does it fit, drill the holes, measure it all out. I know it's not that hard, but I didn't have it in me. So, and this came with the cardboard. I wanted to see what a real one looked like before I start making my own. But, so here is the cardboard. And I actually only did one sheet because I was testing it out. And so I'm gonna carefully, it's a little bit humid today, so hopefully that doesn't mess up my flowers. Oh, it's not fully dried actually. You can see they've been pressed very thin up against the paper, but some of these aren't all that dry, which is surprising considering they've been smashed in there for a while. But these are pansies. So this one is dry, I think. Let's see if I can lift it. Oh, it's kind of stuck. I heard a seed crack, a little leaf part. I probably should have not opened this, but anyway, I don't have tweezers with me, but this is a honeybee. No scent. But you can see how thin it's been pressed. And I'll put that one back, but I don't remember. I think these might have been the lemon berry sizzle. And they were ruffly, you can see right there. But I laid them as flat as I could, and then I smashed. And then I did alyssum. You can see right there. And it's like super tiny thin. So anyway, I thought that was fun. I would show you, but we're gonna put this all back because they're not done. I thought a few months smashed like this would be fine, but apparently not. So I'm gonna smash it in a way that I don't, put it back in a way that I don't overlap them. Okay, good enough. So anyway, you would put the flour, smash, put the cardboard, sandwich, you have your bottom, and then you have your top, and then you have your bolt. See, there's all these pieces. Thread the bolt through. Obviously, this is much easier on a table, but I'm holding it to show you. And then you have your washer. And then, is this a wing nut? I don't even know, but. So you just need to do that for all four corners. Back to growing these guys, they're super easy. I haven't had to do any extra special care. So this one is actually the Twilight collection. It just came out. It was specially bred and in Japan, and they're now available here in the US. They're at growers now, and they'll be ready for you in the spring, I believe. This plant gets 8 inches tall by 8 to 10 inches wide. So this is probably like, what, 5 inches? It's only gonna get a little bit taller and a little bit wider. I've found that pansies are super low maintenance. Come on, you wanna get up? Go. Come on. No. Sit. Good boy. Okay, so I've found that, sorry, my dogs are all up in my business. You good, Bo? You good, buddy? He just wants to take a nap. Okay, so, okay, he's gonna join us now. Okay, buddy. All right, can we talk about pansies? Can we talk about pansies? Can we finish? Thank you. Okay, so pansies are super easy, and because they're edible, I don't have to worry about these guys getting into it accidentally. And in terms of temperatures, we talked about it, they're hardy to -10. If you have real winters, you can actually grow them. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. Okay. In terms of sun, they are a flower, so you want to have 4 to 6 hours, sometimes 6 to 8, depending on what part of the world you are, to grow them. But I've found that 4 to 8 hours, anywhere in between there, is fine, except for during the summer when they do need to have some shade. No, buddy. Okay, okay. He's the bestest boy. If you are growing them as edible flowers, you're going to want to make sure that you're using organic inputs. If you are going to eat them, make sure that you're sourcing them from places that are using organic inputs. You might want to grow from seed, or at least get a seedling and then start growing them organically and not necessarily synthetically, just because if you're going to eat it, let's just be safe with what we're putting in our bodies. Just like most plants, pansies like to have the soil evenly moist, not too wet, not too dry. And if they start to get dry, you'll know. The leaves and the flowers will start to wilt a little, and that's when you are about to get to the point of no return, and you must water them. If you catch it in time, they should perk right back up and you'll be fine. Now, your biggest enemy in the garden for pansies are going to be slugs and snails. They find pansies to be delicious and fine dining and will mow down all of your plants. However, I will say this, I haven't had it where they ate the roots, so when the temperatures get colder and the slugs and the snails slow down or go dormant, I've actually seen my pansies and violas pop back up and they're fine. So it all depends on your personal gardening tolerances of pests and disease and things like that. When it comes to pinching plants and deadheading, I don't do it very often because I have so many plants. I can't go around and pinch off every plant that's been damaged. Like, this one hasn't gone in, so maybe I'll clean it up because I want to save this flower. I mean, look at how pretty that is. So many ruffles. So yes, you can go around pinching and deadheading, but I don't. They say that if you do, it will encourage more flowers, but there's already a lot of flowers. I don't need more than this. Now, if you are a pansy enthusiast and that's all you grow, and knock yourself out, no problem there. But if you're a general gardener, you like to have a lot of different plants, don't let pinching and deadheading stop you from growing pansies. So I hope I've convinced you to grow some pansies because I'm a huge fan. I love when new ones come out like these. This one's the Twilight collection, and this is the Antoinette collection. They're easy to grow, they're beautiful. And if you grow enough of them, depending on the variety, you could grow them as cut flowers. And in the pansy book, Brenda actually breaks down which ones would be good for cut flowers because these will only get to 8 inches tall, but some of them will get to 20 inches and you might be able to get some stems for an arrangement. But these are just so pretty. I'm really excited to put these in my garden. I don't know exactly where yet. I'm gonna actually just sprinkle these around my garden in all the different places because they're just so dang pretty. I'd love to know if you're growing pansies, and if you're not, why not? Because they're so affordable, they're so easy to grow, there's no reason to not. Pollinators actually love them too, and I grow them every single year. They're so easy, I don't even think about them. I always just grab some from the nursery, and if I see an empty spot in my garden, it's either a alyssum or a pansy. Let me know if you have any other questions about pansies. I'm using this video to kick off a series on talking about a single type of plant. So today we talked about pansies. In previous videos, I've talked about roses. I'd love to know what other plants you want me to talk about. We can talk about petunias, we can talk about tomatoes, we can talk about lettuce, all the things that you want to grow. Just drop them in the comments and let's chat about it. With that, I think that's it, and I'll see you in the next video.